Oh, that's not good. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So this video, I am going to be replacing the pads and rotors on all four corners of the Volvo, along with rear calipers and a master cylinder. So the video is a little bit long, but it's a lot of work to try to get down into a half hour. So hope you all enjoy the video, and if you do, please like, comment, subscribe. You know, let me know what y'all think, and I'll see you all around. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna go through what I got for brakes here. So I got this all this from a site called buybrakes.com. This video is no way, shape, or form sponsored by them, but go check them out. They do a pretty dang good job. So the one thing they do is they'll send you some new hardware. And what I went with was their DFC 5000 Advantage brake pads. And really I was just kind of going for an economy kind of setup with some good stopping power. So these are the rear pads here. And the other box has front pads. Here's the other box. Let's take a look at these rotors. Here we go. We got a front rotor here. No, this is a rear rotor, sorry. So we got nice new shiny rotors. Here is the front rotor. Nice new and shiny also. So go ahead and check out buybrakes.com. They do a good job. The one thing they did do is they contacted me because there's a lot of different calipers and fitments and stuff for this car as far as brakes are concerned. So they helped me out a lot, made sure I got the right brakes. So go ahead and check them out, buybrakes.com. Alrighty, so upon first glance, pretty rusty, I can't lie. So we're gonna have to go ahead and get the caliper off. I gotta get this bracket here off. So yeah, let's get into it. It's pretty easy. Go. The thing you always want to do is a piece of wire. Got the old rotor off. Alright, so we got one of our new rotors here. Go ahead and spray a little brake clean. Get everything off. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to use this anti-seize lubricant on pretty much everything. Stuff's really good. I mean, just makes it a little bit easier the next go around. You don't need a lot, just a little dab will do you. the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put new grease on the sliding pins here. One thing you want to try to avoid is you don't want to put any on the tip here, because grease doesn't compress. So if you get any on the tip, like I'll have to wipe that little bit off there, it'll actually keep your sliding pin from going in all the way, and your pads will wear differently and all that stuff. So we're going to put a nice little coat on here. It should be good there. Did get all new hardware and all that stuff for this. So it comes with new little bellow things here. Alright, so the one thing I'm going to do is I got to take and push these pistons back in. What I use is a C-clamp, because it works pretty good and they're pretty cheap. So alright guys, there we go. Got one side done. Almost out of battery in this camera, so I got the new pads, new rotor, new hardware. So looks a lot better than the old one. That's the old, pretty rusty and crusty. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna do the other side, and I gotta get everything moved over here. So let me go ahead and get that done, and I'll be right back with you. So what that happened there. Alrighty guys, as you see, the new rotors and pads are on the front here. So I got both sides done. It was pretty easy once I figured it out. Pretty easy overall. Yeah, so that's, I mean, wasn't a whole heck of a lot to it. So those are done. So tomorrow I got to go through and I got to get the master cylinder put on, because the one I have leaks really bad. And I also have calipers, reman calipers coming for the rear. So this one here is frozen, or it's stuck, and I can't get the work loose. And almost lost that wheel the other night driving down the road, because the rotors warped and started backing the wheel off. So with that being said, when I come back to you guys, I will be down. Actually, I talked to the landlords. I'm going to be able to work in the barn tomorrow because it's supposed to be raining all day. So I'll be able to get the master cylinder done. So I know I have this space down here, this barn area, but I rent the house, not the barn. So maybe someday I'll be able to use that to work on my cars, or I can find a shop space or something so it's a little bit easier. But anyways, I digress. So when I come back to you guys, we'll be down the barn. We'll be putting a new master cylinder on. All right guys, so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to be replacing this master cylinder here, because it leaks pretty bad. I got the other one already locked in on the vise over there. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the level sensor here. I'm going to pull this old reservoir off, put it on the new one. I want to kind of gravity bleed for a minute. I do have I got some other bleeder valves. So what we're going to do is we're going to bench bleed the master cylinder before we put it on the car, just so it doesn't get airbound. It gets should get all the air out, and then we'll go through and we will bleed all the calipers just to make sure there's no air there. And it's raining out pretty good. And then I got to figure out how to get the sunroof not to leak. It rained last night and the damn thing leaks like a sieve. So I'm going to get set up to move the reservoir over to the new master cylinder. So when we come back, we'll be doing that. All right, so we went ahead, we got the I got the reservoir on the new one, new master cylinder here. So the next step is going to be, I got to take these plugs out here. I got to take the bleeder valve off the old master cylinder, and then I'm going to bench bleed the new master cylinder. Alrighty guys, so I got the old master cylinder off. There it is. Usually what fails is it's these rubber seals on the top here. I didn't film it. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's 2 bolts holding it onto the brake booster, and then you got to take the lines off. So basically you undo the lines that go to it, and then you undo the 2 bolts there. Just be careful that the bolts that hold it on here for me had a thread lock on it, so it might be a little bit difficult to get off. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some brake clean down there to kind of clean up all that stuff there, because it is corrosive. Brake fluid is extremely corrosive, so you always want to make sure you clean off if it ever gets on your paint at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up, and then I'm gonna when I come back, we'll start bench bleeding the new master cylinder. Alrighty guys, welcome back. So I'm gonna go ahead and bench bleed this. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up with fluid. Essentially what we're gonna do is I got 2 where this hooks up. So these right here, this goes to the ABS, I believe, ABS control module. And what we're going to do is we're going to crack these open. I'm going to push on this cylinder with a screwdriver that I have. Find out where I put that. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the screwdriver, I'm going to crack this open. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to push on the piston and push all the air out. Now the one thing I did do is I did put some duct tape on the end of the screwdriver here, just so I don't nick the inside dealy thing there. Yeah, I'm technical. So I'm going to go ahead and crack these just a little bit. The one thing I'm going to watch for is I'm going to make sure I don't have fluid coming out of the out from around these things here. Looks good. Looks good. And let's try giving it a push, see what happens here. Oh, there's a little bit of fluid there. I don't know if you can see it. I'll show you guys here. See if I get these to come up. A little bit hard to see. Well, you can kind of see it. You see all those little bubbles. That's what you want to get out. Make sure I can see all the little small bubbles that are in here. So a lot of tiny bubbles coming out. Some small bubbles in there. Alrighty guys, we're going to go ahead. I got the new master cylinder bled. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put it in here, get the lines hooked back up. Then I'm going to go to all four corners and make sure I bleed all the calipers. And then, yeah, she'll be done. So let's get to it. I did leave these little bleeder valves in here until I get these lines ready to put in. So hope everybody's having a Merry Christmas. I am filming this on Christmas Day, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out these bleeder screws and put the brake lines back in. The thing you do have to be careful of is a lot of these older Volvos used brass fittings for their brakes, and not quite sure why. If someone knows, comment down below, but I have a feeling it's because brake fluid is so corrosive. Maybe it doesn't corrode the brass fittings. I don't know. So whenever you're tightening down or loosening up, you always want to use a line wrench or a flare wrench. Right now I'm just using a regular wrench just to kind of get it screwed in here. When I go to actually tighten them down, I'll use a flare wrench, and this is a flare wrench here. If anybody you guys don't know, just got that one little cutout. That way you can really grab onto the bolt, or whatever you're tightening down or loosening. I tend to use 6-point sockets when I'm doing the bleeder screws on, say, like a caliper or something. I'll use the, that's not what I want. I'll use those just because I can grab the whole dang bleeder screw instead of one side, like if you're using just a regular wrench. Alright guys, so we got the new master cylinder in, and I tried the brakes out, and it was way better than it was. So next step is we're going to go through and I'm going to bleed all four corners. So I'm going to get the car lifted up, get the wheels off so I can bleed those, and yeah, we'll get to it. Alright guys, so got one of the wheels off here. I'm going to go ahead and use this this is a check valve bleeder. So basically it's a one-way valve. So the fluid will come out this end, and then the valve closes, so that way air can't get back in the other end. So I'm going to go ahead and get this bleeder loose here. go ahead and make sure I don't have any bubbles out here. And a few little bubbles there. And like when you do this, I might have cracked it a little bit too much, but barely need to crack these open. You can use a wrench to kind of get a little bit more control. I think you get a lot more control out of a wrench, but see, it looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and crank this back down. Alrighty, so we're on the rear calipers now. This is actually one I've wanted to see is on the passenger side because it's frozen. It's stuck. So I'll see if any fluid comes through, because it could very well be that the hose, the brake hose, could be bad. So, I don't know if you guys can see it, I'll show you, but look how, that's some dirty fluid right there, man. It doesn't look like there's no air in it, which is good. It's dirty. A lot of black stuff come out of that caliper there. Gotta give it a few more pumps, try to get some clean fluid in there. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna try rebleeding this a different way. Had some air bubbles. Try to get rid of those air bubbles. Alright, that's looking a lot better. A lot clearer. Still see some air bubbles though. So I'll give it a couple more presses, try to get rid of those air bubbles. Green looking. I wonder why. You guys know why it's green? Comment down below. Kind of curious. It's just old fluid or what? We see no air bubbles. That's a good sign. So we're gonna bleed this until this fluid starts to clear out a little bit. Alright, that's looking a lot healthier. That's really green and gross looking. So, alright, that looks good. Crank this back down. This check valve bleeder is a really nifty thing to have. I really like it. It's bleeding stuff a lot. And it doesn't, you can bleed a lot more than just brakes. You can bleed your clutch master cylinders, stuff like that. Alright guys, so today on the episode of getting the brakes fixed on that, we got the new master cylinder in, went through all four corners, got those all bled. Found out we had some old fluid in the rear calipers, so maybe that's why they weren't working, I don't know. So next up, we got to do the rear brakes, get those working right, get the pads and rotors on there. I might change out the calipers, I don't know yet. I probably will, because I don't know if that's the reason why that one caliper isn't working, why it's sticking. So with that being said, next part is we're going to be doing the rear brakes. All right guys, welcome to the next part of the getting the brakes fixed on the 740. So as you saw, the front brakes are pretty rusty. They're old, I don't know how old they are. The pads still look good, but I wanted to go through and make sure it's all good on the brakes on this car. So we did front brakes, we did the master cylinder, and I'm going to do the rear brakes. Now, as I stated in a previous part of this video, I thought I had a stuck caliper on the rear here on the passenger side, but that doesn't seem to be the case. After I bled it when I did the master cylinder, it seems to work better. So we're going to go and just replace the pads and rotors on the rear here. I'm not going to tackle the calipers unless I absolutely have to. So I got all the got everything out here, got the car on jacks and jack stands, got tools out here. So let's get into it. Get to try out my new impact here. Okay, so how this is set up, so I'm gonna have to knock out, I got two pins here, a little plate here that puts tension on the brake pads, holds them in. So we have to knock out these pins. So go ahead and grab my punch here real quick. Not too worried about these pins. I got new ones coming, new ones here for hardware. There we go. Put this spring plate right away at the caliper bolts, so you can't even, not even a way to get in there. That's dumb. Go for a little bit. There we go. Oh. Fucking e-brake shoes are garbage. So it looks like the e-brake was what was stuck on this, not the pads, not the caliper. Now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about e-brakes. Alrighty guys, so I'm back. I kind of cleaned up around in here, got off all the little corrosion stuff, put a little anti-seize there. Now, I don't have the pads to replace the e-brake pads right now, so I'm gonna have to wait, get some pads, and then do those later on. I know I didn't know I needed new e-brake pads, so it is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put the new rotor on, put the new pads in here, and get this side all put back together. I'm gonna brake clean off these rotors. Guessing this hole here is just e-brake. All right, hardware, new brake pads. Wonder how I need to do this. Alright, kind of put this where you can see it. So my C-clamp can't fit in here. So what I did was I got a big old pair of channel locks, and I just kind of make sure I grab the piston, don't hit the rubber piece there. And I just clamp down, push the piston back in. I think this one up here is stationary. I don't think this one moves. Oh, that one's stationary. So that's how we do that there. There's one. It's a little chilly out today, so I'm still sniffly. It's supposed to be like 51 today and then like 40 tomorrow, so I can't wait for spring. Get back into fishing. We got some fishing content. I might do some fishing here. I don't know, maybe this winter. So riddle me this. How does this work? There's one. That doesn't go in. Has to go back in. There's no way. I'll get it. Okay guys, so I want to point something out. So this caliper over here, it is bad. It doesn't work. So if you look at, this is the reman caliper, so there's two pistons. So there's one on this side, one on this side. These two pistons work together. So when I was trying to put the pads back in, let's see if I can show you guys here. There's this piston on this side, right here, over here, will not move. So that piston's stuck. I can't get it unstuck. I've tried. So what we're going to end up having to do is putting these reman calipers on. I'm going to make sure before I get too far that these reman calipers will work. There's nothing worse than getting too far along and finding out your stuff doesn't work. Now the reman calipers I have aren't exactly the same, but they should work. All the hookups are in the same spot, so really wasn't expecting to have to do calipers today. I was hoping I wouldn't so I could return them and get some money back. It would really help right now. What also helps is when you guys subscribe to the channel. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, help me out. I'd really like to, I know it sounds kind of selfish, but I'd like to actually someday work for myself. And also I'd like to be able to get Percy more dog toys, so, and dog treats. So if you want to help me out, get Percy more dog treats and dog toys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Seems like you guys really like this Volvo content, so. And it's always fun working on 30-year-old rust, so. So like I said, this caliper isn't exactly the same. It's got these little wing things on here. I think it should still work. So I'll make sure all the screw holes line up and everything else lines up. And honestly, it really isn't that difficult doing a caliper. I already broke the line loose on this one on the old caliper. So it looks like that should work. Make sure the pads I have sitting there right. There we go. Looks like that all sits right. Pinholes all line up. So go ahead, get this tightened down, get everything, all hardware and everything put on. We'll put on the line here, and then we'll bleed it all. Okay, so I didn't record the other one here, the top one. See, these pins just go on there like that. Alrighty, so we got the new reman caliper in. Go ahead and tighten this down, and then I'm going to go ahead and bleed it. Check valve bleeder on here. Alrighty guys, so got everything set up. I'm gonna go ahead, crack this line open, or try to. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and bleed this caliper out. Alright, so it's a little tedious, but we got it done. So looking at this, I have no bubbles on this side, which is what we want. So this side is done. So we're going to move on to the other side and pretty much just do everything we just did. So here we go. Alrighty, so I do this side now, we're going to do this side. It's kind of nice, I already know what I need to do. Someone got a new shotgun for Christmas or something. You know, Happy New Year's. There we go. One. And the other, still can't get to because of that there. Yep. I need a bigger hammer. Okay. 4-pound sledge. There we go. I like dead blows because they keep the pinging sound metal on metal down. Those are, you see how long these have been sitting around. They're pretty rusty, and a lot of rust buildup around here, which can cause you some problems. Alrighty, so we got this cleaned off. Got a little anti-seize on there to keep it from sticking if I ever have to take these off again. Got the rotor here. Clean it off a little bit. You might be wondering why I'm spraying it off before I put it on. Well, when you get rotors, sometimes have machining grease and stuff like that on it. So you always want to make sure you just clean it off. Line up the hole for the pin there. Happy New Year. This goes to show you I do live out pretty much in the country. And I think that's probably the gunshots are probably from the house down the road here. They have a shooting range out back. So all right, so next step is I'm going to get the old caliper loose, so I'm going to get the new one on, and then so let's go ahead, get this old caliper loose, and then we can get the new caliper on. I am going to put one screw in that old caliper so I can get it loose. That hose loose. I'll probably look into new brake lines. These ones are starting to get kind of cracky. Showing the signs of age. It's not a 14. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. There we go. It's cracked loose. Where are you? There you are. Alright guys, so I got the caliper in. I got the line here. It's got a little twist to it, but I think it'll be okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get the caliper put all back together, get it bled, see how things work. Should work just fine. One would hope. A little bit of grease on the back of the pad here. Two. Alrighty, so my copper washer idea did not work. It failed. So to take everything back apart and redo it. Basically what happened was I tried putting some copper washers to get this twist out of the line. Now I tried, before anybody says anything, I did try getting this loose up here so I could try to get the twist out of the line, but I can't get that loose, and I don't have the means or the stuff at the moment to repair a brake line. So we're going to run with the twist for right now. It won't be too bad, but yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on it. Push that out. Ooh, there's a whole bunch of bubbles. There's a whole bunch of air. A few little bubbles up in there. Alrighty guys, just to recap in this video what all we did, and it is cold out. It's apparently feels like it's 24 degrees, so it's chilly out today. So this video went ahead, got a new master cylinder put in, went ahead, put new rotors and pads on the front here. And then on the rear, got new pads, rotors, and reman calipers on the rear. Now, I did not change out the shoes for the e-brake. I'll eventually get to that. I think in the spring I'm going to be redoing all the brake lines and stuff, brake hoses, well, at least the hoses. So, with that being said, I was going to do more today, but it's cold out, and I kind of came down a little bit of something overnight, so it's not worth it. Just sit out here and freeze and work on a car. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you do, please, if you're not, please subscribe, please like, and I'll see you guys later.